So welcome to part two of module one. Okay. So in the part one, we have seen basically what exactly is the definition of HRM. Okay. We have seen the evolution of HRM. We have seen the meaning of HRM. We have also looked into the features of human resource management. We have also seen the scope of HRM. Okay. That is a personal aspect, welfare aspect, and industrial aspect. We have also looked into the objectives of human resource management, and then we have seen basically the major thing is the difference between personal management and human resource management, right? And we have also looked into the functions of human resource management. So functions of human resource management was divided into two. One is managerial functions and operative functions. In the managerial functions, we have seen planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. And in operation functions, we have seen procurement, staffing, developing, compensation, maintenance, integration, and emerging issues. Then we have also looked into importance of human resource management. Now in this part two, okay, we'll be looking into the importance of management at various levels. Okay, so here first, if you could see, my dear students, at the enterprise level, okay, at the level of the organization, if the HR practices are good and attractive, okay, then 100% it will be attracting and retaining the best talent in the organization. So it also helps if the HR practice is really good. Okay, it also helps in training people for building the right attitude towards organization. So if you have right HR policies, right HR practices in your organization, you build a good organization culture, which ultimately attracts the human resource. Okay, attracts the competent people towards the organization. Okay, to join the organization, as well as it also retains the employees in your organization. Okay, and then, ma'am, let me in. Okay, again, students, request you all to join on time. Okay, yeah, I hope screen is visible, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So here, if you could see, my dear students, at the enterprise level, the HR practices should be very good to attract and retain the best talent towards the organization. And the HR practices and policies also help in training people for building the right attitude towards the organization. See, employees will be happy in your organization only when you give job satisfaction to them, only when you give growth opportunities to them. Okay, and when they feel satisfied towards the work as well as their career in the organization. Okay, so for that you need to have right HR practices. Okay, right HR practices in the sense, right training and development should be given, identify the skill gaps, identify the competencies of the employees, put the employee in the right job where the skills can be utilized, and also train the people. Okay, and develop the people in the organization, give them a better career in the organization, which builds a right attitude in the employees towards the organization. So employees will feel that organization is their own organization, and they start working towards the organization, achieving the organization goals. So that is what it is required at enterprise level. Now moving down to an individual level, okay, and importance of HRM at individual level. So here, at individual level, if the HR practices are really good, it promotes teamwork within the organization. Okay, so it promotes teamwork within the organization, and also among the employees, and provide excellent growth opportunities, and also builds commitment in the employees. So it brings in positive attitude in the employees if the HR practices are good at the individual in the organization. So at enterprise level, we have seen at individual level, each and every employee of the organization will be very happy, and also they work in team, they cooperate with each other, there are no much of conflicts, there are no much of grievances of the employees in the organization, and it also provides excellent growth opportunities to the individuals within the organization, and well, it builds the commitment towards the organization, right? And then at the society level, if the HR practices are really good, okay, the company will grow. Okay, as HR is seen as the heart of any organization. If heart works well, entire body works well. In the same way, if the HR department works well, the entire organization also works well. So if HR department is really doing good, it is building a better culture. It has competent people in the organization, motivated people in the organization, committed and loyal people in the organization. Ultimately, what happens if employees are happy, organizations grow. Okay, when the organizations grow, what happens is it creates employment opportunities. Okay, it creates employment opportunities within the society, and ultimately it helps the society also grow. Okay, and also the second importance at the societal level is utilizing the best talent. Okay, so here when the enterprises grow, or ultimately what happens is you utilize the best talent, you identify the best talent and utilize the best talent within your organization. So the talent of the society is not gone for a toss. Okay, you are just going to utilize it to the fullest extent, and you're going to pay back the benefits to the employees, okay, and the society also. At the national level, my dear students, when we speak about importance of HRM at the national level, so effective use of human resource. Okay, so even if an organization is such that there are many organizations, if the HR departments of the organizations are such that they are utilizing the best talent from the society, they are giving best employment opportunities to the people in the society, as well as they are seeing to it that the standard of living of the people grow. Okay, the people grow within the society and give the best opportunities to them. Ultimately what happens is you are seeing to it that the human resource of your country is utilized in the best way. Okay, so your employees, or sorry, your people, the country people will not move to other countries in search of jobs. Okay, so that is what at the national level HRM is very important. Okay, then moving on to principles of HRM, okay, human resource management. And this we have 10C model. Now, what is this 10C? Okay, so here first C is comprehensiveness, second C is credibility, third C is communication, fourth C is control. Then you have cost effectiveness, competence, creativity, coherence, change, and commitment. These are the 10 C's: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now let us see one by one what these 10 C's mean. So first the C, that is comprehensiveness. It includes all aspect of people management. So HRM, principles of HRM in the sense on what principle HRM, human resource management, works. Based on what principle it works? First principle is comprehensiveness. So it includes all aspect of people management. Okay, any aspect of people management, whether it be recruitment, whether it be performance management, whether it be training and development, whether it be career development, okay, whether it be competency mapping, whether it may be performance management, any sort of aspect of people management, or maybe the leave policies, okay, leave management, or it may be the competency management and all those things. So everything is included in human resource management, so it's very comprehensive. Okay, then you have the second principle of HRM, that is credibility. Credibility in the sense it builds trust among staff on top management. Okay, so here what happens is it is building the trust among staff on the top management. So it says to it that employees are motivated and work towards the goal of the organization. Employees are committed and loyal. Okay, and it builds the trust between the employees and the top management, between the staff and the top management. So HR always is a sandwich between the top management and the lower level management. So here it has the work of bringing in credibility. Okay, so top management should trust the employees, employees should trust the top management. Building that credibility is in hands of human resource management, and this is one of the principle on which human resource management works. Third one is communication. Okay, openness. Okay, so everything should be crystal clear to the employees. Okay, so whatever performance management system is there, whatever training and development is there, whatever compensation system is there, everything should be very open to the employees. Okay, you cannot have any secrets, right? Then apart from that, the top management, whatever they tell, everything should be openly told to the lower level management. Okay, and lower level management, whatever they say, everything is to be told to the top management. Okay, then afterwards we have basically the next one is cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness is the next principle. So here, HRM deals with people. It says for that it motivates the people. It gives best growth opportunities to the people. But again, there is one more thing which is to be taken into consideration: the cost aspect of the organization. Okay, so it has also the duty of utilizing the resources in an effective way. Okay, so when we speak about if resources, it means the financial resources, whatever you have, it has to be utilized in a very effective way. Okay, so cost effectiveness is one of the principle of human resource management, whereas you reward and award the people. Okay, and promotions, whatever are there, it should be fair. Simply you cannot promote anyone, simply you cannot reward anyone. So you need to have right base, you need to have right decision why you are going to promote that particular employee, why you are raising or incrementing the salary of that particular employee, why you are giving promotions to that particular employee. So it should be very fair enough. Okay, that is what we say cost effective. It should be acceptable both to the employees as well as the top management, right? Then you have the next principle of human resource management, that is creativity. Okay, creativity is nothing but competitive HR strategies. Okay, so you cannot have the same old traditional HR strategies being followed from olden days and all those things. You have to change. Okay, so as we say, change is inevitable. You have to change if you want to stay in the market. So here, the strategies of the HR has to keep on changing in order to attract the talent towards the organization, or in order to fetch the right talent from the market. You need to have competitive HR strategies. Okay, you need to be very competitive. You have to pose challenge to the employees. You have to give too much of freedom to the employees, as well as you have to bring in a lot of creativity in the employees. Then only you can sustain in the market. So that is one of the principle of HRM. So you every now and then the strategies keep on changing. For example, if you could see recruitment, initially in olden days it was walk-ins, okay, and then slowly things started changing, okay, and then a lot of middleman came into existence, right? A lot of consultants came into existence. First consultancy which was started was ABC consultants, right? So like this, many consultants came in. They took in the work of recruitment from the organizations. Okay, they were the people who were mediating between the candidates and the organizations. And then slowly things started changing, and then online mode came into consideration, and through the websites itself, the resumes were being sent, and probably the recruitment happened online and all those things, right? Naukri.com, jobs, timesjob.com, etc., indeed.com, all these were the job portals which came into consideration. And then slowly, right now, it is all about analytics, right? It is all about human resource analytics. So here companies are very calculative on selecting a particular candidate. Okay, so here basically return on investment is taken into consideration and given the first priority. So if you are selecting a candidate, you should make sure that he or she will be best performers within the organization. So that is what analytics speaks about. Okay, so here that's what we say HR strategies. Okay, in that particular way. Now I just gave an example of recruitment. Okay, there are a lot of many changes which have happened into performance management, training and development, and all those things, right? And communication between the HRs, okay, and the employees, and all those things. Everything has changed. So with the changes which have come in the market, the HRs have to also to change their own strategies. That is what we say creativity. Okay. So then you have coherence. Okay. Coherence in the sense HR activities and initiatives must be unique. Okay. So your company HR activity should be very unique. Then only people will be attracted towards your organization. Okay, your compensation strategy should be unique. Your compensation techniques should be unique, right? And your performance management technique should be unique, right? And any activity of HR, if you could take, it should be very unique. It should be something different from other companies. Then only what happens is will be able to attract new talent in the organization, best talent to the organization. So that's what we say initiatives and activities. Okay, HR initiatives in the sense whatever many a times we find having a lot of melas, job melas, and all those things, right? So these are the old techniques, old traditional techniques through which HRs recruit. Okay, but now things have changed. A lot many things have changed, right? So initiatives, right? HRs also see to it that they also educate the people. They have many schools, right? And they try to recruit from those schools itself. They try to train people according to whatever the requirements is there in that schools, that is called as finishing schools, right? So basically this is how the coherence happens. So this is one of the principle on which HRM works. Then you have competence, right? So here the HRs have to say to it that they help in growth of the organization and individual competencies. So every organization HR department has its own skill sets, right? So every department has its own job description, job specifications, job analysis, and all those things you'll be seeing in the next modules. Okay, so basically what happens is you have the competency chart of each and every individual. Okay, skill chart of each and every individual in the organization. You also know what type of skill, knowledge, ability each and every individual has. Okay, so that's what we say, individual competencies have to be identified, and then you have to help the competence to develop the competencies in the employees. With in turn you are going to help the growth of the organization. Okay, so when individual competencies are built up, automatically the organization growth also is being is being uh, moving ahead. Okay, then you have control. That is one of the principle of HRM. So here performance of HRM is consistent with the business objective. So here whatever HR does, okay, whatever strategies it formulates, whatever creativity it brings in, whatever cost effectiveness it does, whatever initiatives the HR take, everything is based on the business objective of the organization. So all the HR activities, all the HR policies should be in line with the business objectives of the organization. You cannot go beyond the business objectives. You should see to it that the policies or procedures or activities, whatever you do, you are going to meet in turn the business objective by doing those all things. That is what we say controlling, which is one of the principle of human resource management. Then yes, one another principle of human resource management, that is change. So here HR acts as a change agent. Okay, so HR says to it that any changes which are being brought in the organization, okay, so the people of the organization adapt quickly to that particular change and work towards implementing that change within the organization. So change agent in detail we'll be seeing in the next slides. Then you have commitment, which is the last principle of human resource management. So you should build committed employees within the organization. You should motivate employees. You should have right leaders who motivate the employees within the organization to become committed. Okay, then you have role of HR managers. So role is divided into into strategic partner, administrative expert, change agent, and employee champion. So these are the four roles which are being played by HR. Now moving on to the first role, that is strategic partner. Okay, so here HR is seen as a strategic partner of the organization. Okay, initially HR was seen only as a department in the organization, but now it is seen as a strategic partner of the organization. Okay, without HR, a business cannot run. So HR professionals must be able to partner with the organization in developing plans that will align the firm's human resource with its long-term corporate goals and visions. So HR has to see to it that it becomes the partner of the organization and it develops lot many plans, strategies which will align the firm's human resource with the long-term corporate goals and visions. Okay, and also provide tools and create an enabling environment to actualize these goals. So you provide lot many tools, okay, lot many policies, okay, which create an environment in which you can realize or actualize the goals which the organization has given. Okay, so that is with the HR. So a strategic partner in the sense, first is you develop plans and strategies so that you align with the organizational goals and objectives of vision. Okay, and then you provide tools. Okay, and create an environment which sees to it that you actualize those goals. HR professionals should be able to analyze work processes also. Okay, HR professionals should be able to analyze work processes and recommend improvements where necessary. See, my students, when we speak about human resource department, right? So human resource department, the people who are there in the particular department need to get involved in each and every department of the organization. Okay, so here you have to interfere in the production department, you have to interfere in the marketing department, finance department, packaging department, etc., etc., etc. So here, from the start of the gate of the factory till the end process, the HR involvement will be there. Okay, so here HR should be very professional. Okay, and they should be able to analyze each and every process. Okay, HR should be knowing all the processes in the organization. HR should know all the employees in the organization by their name. HR should know all the employee skill sets. Okay, and also recommend wherever necessary improvements can be made for the growth of the organization. And that is what expected from a HR professional. Okay, and then he or she should develop policies that will benefit the firm, management, and employees alike. As I said, HR is sandwiched between the top management and the lower level management. So here what happens is HR should provide policies. They should come up with policies which benefits the firm, which benefits the management, as well as benefits the employees also. So they are the balance between the employer and the employee. Okay, then moving on to the next role of HR, that is administrative expert. So this is the second role which the HR plays in an organization. So administrative expert is nothing but you are expected to carry out administrative duties like providing the tools needed for organizations to operate successfully. Okay, like managing the overall labor cost, okay, in the organization, and planning for administrative budget. Okay, so hiring budget, okay, selection and all those things, and then training budget, right, performance management budget, increments, compensation, then afterwards promotions. All these are various budgets you need to handle. So you need to play a role of administrator, whereas you will be managing the overall labor cost. Okay, and then you will also be a person, okay, who will be an information manager. So you are passing on the information from the top management to the lower level management. You are taking the information of lower level management and you will be passing out the information to the top level management. So you are a communication bridge between the employer and the employee, and you should be able to discover new and evolving trends that will be beneficial for the company. Okay, new trends, new ways of working, new processes and all those things which will be really helpful for the organization, for growth of the organization. So HR professionals should also be able to manage HR budgets like recruitment, selection, training, development, etc., 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 and also be a good negotiator in times of salary decisions. Okay, so he or she in the HR department should know what compensation should be given to which person. Okay, considering the job knowledge, considering the experience, considering the expertise, considering the need of the hour for that particular filling of that particular vacancy, everything is to be considered, and then finally the HR has to decide on what salary is to be given. That is what is the administrative role played by HR. Apart from that, the administrative expert, in that you have policy makers. So HRs will be making the policies within the organization. So policies such as recruitment policy, training and development policy, leave policies. Okay, then apart from that, you have environmental policy, right? All these are various policies which are made in the HR department. So he or she in the HR department should be an expert in making the policy so that you be in line with the objectives of the organization, as well as you meet the needs of employer, employee, and the unions and all in the organization. And apart from that, administrator administering the timing of the employees, in time and out time of the employees, right? Administering the leaves of the employees, everything is to be taken into consideration, right? And then advisor, that is one of the administrative role which is being played by HR. You become an advisor to the management, as well as you are an advisor to the employees. Any problem with the employees, first person whom they think of approaching is HR department. Okay, so always you will be having set of people who will be having problems with them, and you are a person who will be advising them positively, building a positive attitude in them, motivating them, and then putting back to their work. Okay, so that's what we say advisor. Then you have housekeeper. HR also has to see about the housekeeping, keeping the factory neat. Okay, keeping the environment in the factory needs, seeing to it that the fire extinguishers, the safety procedures, or first aid training, fire extinguisher training, everything is to be provided to the employees. Okay, then afterwards you have a role of counselor. Many a times there will be lot of conflicts which will be there in the organization. Many a times there will be a lot of arguments which will be happening with the organization. Many a times there will be employees who will be dissatisfied with the working of the organization, or working of the department, or with their immediate boss. Okay, lot many problems or discrepancies will be there. So all those discrepancies will be turned out to HR department only. Okay, so HR department is to be such that the people in the HR department are playing the role of counselors. They counsel those employees, understand their problems, okay, and then give a better solution to them. Okay, that's what is the counselor role. Okay, then the apart from that, you have a welfare officer. That is one of the administrative role which is being played by HR department. So here, I hope you might be knowing about the labor laws. Okay, so Factories Act, Maternity Benefit Act, okay, Paternity Act. Apart from that, the PF, Provident Fund Act, okay, ESI Act, all these are various acts which are being made for welfare of the employees in the organization. So HR has to see to it that the all acts whatever are there in the book of law is being implemented properly within the organization. So that is one of the things which the HR should look into. Then afterwards, you have the role of legal consultant. Okay, legal consultant, my dear students, you again are a bridge between the company and the legal authorities. So you'll be having the labor inspector who may visit any time. Surprise visits will be there by the labor inspector, and suddenly he'll be popping in and then looking in to the factory, speaking to the employees, understanding the problem of the employees, and saying to it that whether as a organization has HR department implemented everything what is there in the book of law. Okay, so everything is to be taken into consideration. So there are a lot many aspects which are there in the book of law which are to be implemented. So here, whenever there is some problem, okay, whenever the factory may, it happens that always the factory may not be able to implement everything. So here, how well you convince that particular labor inspector so that the complaints are not being put forth, and then if there is any case being put forth by an employee, okay, on the organization. So here, for the hiring and all, for the hearing in the court and all those things, again, basically the HRs have to go in, and they will be the people who will be giving better consultation to the organization, saying that this is what is to be done to come out of this particular case. Okay, so here, if you could say legal consultant, they are the people who know all the laws, and they know if any problem comes in, how to come out of that particular problem. They will be guiding the organization for that. Okay, so that's what we say administrative expert. Now moving down to the next role of HR, that is change agent. So as a change agent, HR professional should be able to find new ways of doing things that can move the company forward. Okay, you cannot have the same old technique. You need to have new ways and of doing things in the company. Okay, so that your company may not be outdated. Okay, the policies and procedures in the company have to be changed from time to time. So he or she should be able to convince management of the need for change and address employees about the change. So here HR has to look into the changes which have happened in the market and then try to implement those changes in a better way, okay, from the competitor, and see to it that they convince the management and as well as the employees to implement that particular change. So he or she should coordinate and facilitate the change process. So any change which is being brought in the organization, 100% there will be lot of resistance for change. So here the HR department should see to it that they prove as a change agent and also help the employees accept the change and implement that change successfully, and also provide lot many tools and structures needed for the change period. Whatever tools are required, whatever structures are required, that means whatever manpower expertise is required to implement that change successfully, that is to be brought in by the HR department. Okay. So as an expert, he or she should be able to create new organizational change without disrupting the firm's business. Okay. So firm's business should not be disturbed. With that, taking that into consideration, you can bring in lot many changes within the organization. Okay. Then afterwards we have employee champion. Okay. So HR also plays a role of employee champion, that is HR professional, that is champion of the employees. So here the HR should be able to manage the staff selection and recruitment process, training and development, career planning, performance management, succession planning, and retention exercises. Okay, all these are to be looked in by the HR department. Now, first one, if you could see, is recruitment and selection. So here, this is the first function. Okay, so as in the body, you have mouth wherein you are going to put in the food, you are going to consume the food through mouth. In the same way, in an organization, recruitment is a function through which you are going to consume the right talent within the organization. So if you are consuming good food, your body will be very good. If you are not consuming good food, then ultimately it affects your body. In the same way, if you are having the right or recruiting the right employees, selecting the right employees and placing them in the right job, 100% your organizations will grow to a very successful stage. But if you are failure in recruiting the right candidate, they are the people who will be problem makers in your organization. Okay, so that's what we say. More than knowledge, skill, ability, attitude is more important. So first HRs, what they do is they look into attitude of the candidate. They want positive attitude of the candidate, and then they look into the knowledge, skill, ability, and all those things, right? So attitude is one thing which cannot be changed. Okay, wherein knowledge and all those things you can learn. Okay, so that is what we say recruitment and selection. So HR should be a champion in recruiting and selecting the right candidate, as well as training and development. Okay, so training and development also should be brought in a right way. So here what happens is, you cannot simply give any training to any person. You have to identify which training is needed for which person, and accordingly you need to give that particular training to that particular person. Because if you give simply some training to some particular person, that training will not be successful. You have to identify the need and then give the training to achieve that particular need. Okay, or to fulfill that particular need. That helps the employee grow within the organization. As well as development, identify the right competent people who can grow to a better position, give them better facilities for educating themselves to get into the further position and all those things, right? Apart from that, career planning of the employees. So our HR should see to it that they plan the career of the employees. They give better growth opportunities to the employees in the organization. And then you have performance management, right? Now this is one of the aspect wherein it decides whether employees will leave your organization or will stay in your organization. So if you identify the right performance within the organization and give them opportunities for growth, 100% you will be having people staying in your organization for a longer period of time. So if there is some bias, okay, some unfairness which is being done in performance management, ultimately it results in people leaving your organization, okay, or demotivating the employees in your organization. So performance management should be planned in such a way that you identify the right performers, best performers within the organization, as well you identify the underperformers in the organization who are not performing well in the organization. Try to understand why they are not performing, give them the right training, okay, so that they can perform better. Fine. So that is what is being put forth in performance management. And then you have succession planning. Okay, succession planning is nothing but planning for the successors for the key positions within the organization. Okay, so after Dhirubhai Ambani, there were two successors, his sons were the two successors. So like this, succession planning will be done in the organization. This succession planning is done basically for key positions. So what happens is, whenever a person is going to retire, or maybe the person is going to leave the organization, or maybe the person is transferred elsewhere, or maybe due to some disease the person will not be alive for a longer period of time, that time what the HR does is they bring some other person on that particular place who is very much equal in terms of knowledge, and in terms of skill, in terms of ability, in terms of leadership and all those things, and see to it that the person who is leaving will train that particular other person who is newly recruited, and then after the person leaves, he will be his successor. That's what we say succession planning. And then retention exercises. My students, there will be an exit interview which will be done in the organization. So whenever an employee is leaving the organization, okay, whenever he resigns from the organization, that time an exit interview is done to the employees, and they understand the reason behind the employee leaving the organization. In that, they understand why, what are the issues of the people, okay, and then try to curb those issues, okay, so that they can retain best talent in the organization. So that's what we say retention exercises. There are many ways of retention which will be done, okay, that depends on the situations, whatever it is, right? Then he or she basically should be responsible for determining the firm's long term human resource needs. Okay, very important. So when I say employee champion, the firm's long term human resource needs should be assessed, okay, and then you should be able to meet those needs. Okay, so here for that you have to assess the current resources at present. What are the current resources you have, what is the skill set of the people you have, and then determine where the change is needed. Okay, and in future how many employees are required, what type of skill set of employees are required, do I have that, if I don't have that, how I'm going to recruit, okay, and when I'm going to recruit. Okay, recruitment is an art, my dear students. That's what we put forth as employee champion. Then he or she should determine whether human resource needs can be sourced internally or externally. Whether you can, after identifying the need for human resource for a longer period of time, when the time comes of recruitment, whether I have to get in into internal as well as external. Internal recruitment, if you could see, there are a lot of sources like promotion, transfers. Okay, all these are internal recruitment or demotions, whatever it is. And external recruitment is externally you are going to source the candidate, identify the candidates, and you're going to recruit in your organization. So okay, so many of the organizations go in for internal recruitment rather than external recruitment to cut the cost. So cost is the main factor which has to be seen when you are deciding internal recruitment or external recruitment. Okay. Then you have the next one, that is HR professional is to conduct training needs assessment and determine the type of training that will benefit the staff and organizations. Okay, so for this, there is something called as competency mapping, which is being done. Okay. So the talent which is required to do the job in a right way, okay, or in a beneficial way, and the person who is already recruited on that particular job, the present talent of that particular person. So here, what they do is they match both, then identify where things are lacking, okay, and then try to curb that particular lack, okay, through training. That's what we say competency mapping. You map or you bridge the gap between acquired skills and the required skills, and then you identify the training needs, what type of training is to be given, and give that type of training to the employees. Okay, then HR professionals also manage and carry out career management in the way that aligns the employee dreams with organizational requirement. So here striking the balance is very important. So here what you have to do is you have to manage the career of the people in such a way that even the employee is benefited as well as the organization also is benefited. Okay, so that is what we say employee champion. Then you have operative roles which are being played by the managers, HR managers. So operative roles are recruitment, trainer, motivator, developer, coordinator, linking pin, mediator, and all those things, right? So when we speak about recruitment, I hope you all know about recruitment. Okay, so here that is one of the role which is being played by the HR managers. So they have to identify the needs, human resource needs. Okay, they have to make a form and then give it to the departments, collect the requirements from the department, and then plan whether internal sources or external sources. And then afterwards they have to get into various different sources, understand the yield ratio of those sources, and then finally single down on one particular source through of recruitment, or two three particular sources of recruitment, and then go in for selection test and all those things, and then finally recruit. So these are the different operative roles which are being played by the HR. And then trainer, HR should be a trainer also. HR plays a role of a trainer. So many of our organizations, the trainers will be people from the HR department training people on various aspects of the organizations. And then HR plays the role of motivator. Okay, as HR is a bridging gap between the employer and the employee, so he has to play a role of motivator. He has to motivate both the employees as well as the management. Okay, and developer, that is also one role which is being played by HR. Then coordinator and linking in between the employer and the employee as well as the legal authorities. And HR also plays a role of mediator. So whenever there is a conflict or union trouble in the organization, first person who comes into consideration is human resource department or HR manager. He is a person who will be mediating between the management and the employees or the unions. Okay, so that is what we say operative roles played by the HR managers. Now moving on to the competencies of HR. Okay, so what competency or what talent is required to become an HR? Okay, human resource. First one is personal attributes. Then you have experience and training. Then professional attitudes and qualification. Okay, so basically when you speak about personal attributes, okay, so here personal attributes must be, you have to be an initiative taker. Okay, you cannot wait for someone else to order you and then look into the things. You need to be initiative taker. Many a times there will be a lot of situations wherein immediately you have to take a decision. Okay, you have to initiate the things, and then you have to be very resourceful. You need to have a lot of knowledge. You need to be a source of a resource of the organization. Okay, and then a department of perception. Okay, so depth of perception. You need to be a very well-known person. Okay, into perceiving the things in a right way. Okay, so your perception should be very strong. Immediately when you see a particular person, you need to identify what would be the problem of that particular person, how to convince that particular person. So perception is very important. Then you have one more personal attribute in HR, that is maturity in judgment. So you cannot judge based on your personal feelings or whatever it is. You need to be mature enough to make the right judgment. And then you need to have analytical ability. Okay, you cannot simply take the decisions. You need to analyze the things, then calculate everything, and then finally you have to take a decision. That ability is very much required. So initiative taker, resourceful, perception, maturity in judgment, and analytical ability, these are the main attributes which are required for an HR manager. Okay, and HR manager should be having an intellectual integrity that is free from bias. You cannot be very much for to the management. You cannot be very much for to the employees. You need to strike a balance between both manager as well as management as well as the employees. So you need to be very much intellectual. Okay, you have to be free from bias. Okay, and you have to go for which is right, who is right, and then you have to give the right judgment. That is what we say intellectual integrity. HR manager should be through with labor laws, very much required in any interview. If you go, my dear students, related to HR, first thing they ask you is about labor laws. Okay, if you're not worked with labor laws, or if you do not know labor laws, then you are not worth to be an HR. Okay, so that's what we say. HR manager should be through with labor laws and also should have an understanding of human behavior. Very important. Okay, so already we have seen organizational behavior, how human behavior affects the industries. Okay, then why it is very much important. There are many scientists who have given many theories on human behavior, on the behavioral theories what we have seen. So if you could see all these things, you need to be very much well versed with the human behaviors, right? The other personal attributes is intelligence, like skills to communicate. Okay, you need to know how to communicate, what words to be used. Okay, even a single usage of a wrong word may turn the situation violent. That is one thing which is to be understood. Okay, so whenever you are speaking to the unions, whenever you are speaking to the management, whenever you are speaking to the legal authorities, you need to be having a lot of skills of communication, which word to be used where, how to communicate, the tone of voice, everything to be known by the HRs. Okay, and HR should be the best articulate, moderate. Okay, and understanding and command over language, very much essential. You need to know the local language as well as the English language. Okay, so that's what we say. You need to know how to articulate the things. Okay, something which is not there but you are just going to articulate it and put it forth. Okay, moderate the behaviors of the employees, moderate the things. Okay, and then have better understanding of the situation. Okay, and then command over language. These are the various intellectual abilities which are required. Apart from that, education skills should have learning and teaching skills. HR should do also play a role of trainers. Okay, basically into compliance. When you are into compliance, you have to train your employees on how to behave. Okay, when the auditors come in. So that's what we say, education skills, right? You have to know how to teach people. Okay, you have to build a learning environment within the organization. That skills are required. Then discriminating. Okay, so ability to discriminate between right and wrong. That is one aspect where most of the HRs fail, right? So your ability to discriminate right and wrong should be very much known by the HR person. If that is one ability which is being known by HR, 100% that particular HR will become the best leader. Okay, and executing skills is nothing but executing the management decisions with speed, accuracy, and objectivity. That is one of the quality which is required, as well as leadership quality. Okay, so these are the various personal attributes which are required by the HR. Experience and training which is required by HR. One is for HR, that is previous experience. So basically, initially when you start with the freshers job of HR, uh, there are a lot of issues or a lot of problems. Okay, when you just come out with, okay, because suddenly you may not adjust to the things. Okay, because every company, the HR policies, practices and procedures keep on changing. Okay, so basically in HR they want experienced candidates only. Okay, so basically the students who take up HR specialization, initially when they start up their job, okay, they may not be having better career or better future, but later on once they gain experience, the growth ladder for them is very fast. Okay, so immediately they rise up to a better position in the organization. So that is the beauty of HR. Once you know the things, once you get into the field, once you know the things, immediately you can come up to a highest position in the HR. In short term, you can grow to heights. That is the beauty of HR, right? Then basically, if you could see here, previous experience is taken into consideration. Okay, appropriate environment in same area, right? And then training and psychological aspect. Okay, so you have to train in psychological aspect, labor legislation. You have to make known or train your employees on labor legislation, and specifically in HR management and general management is additional benefit. So if you are well versed with the general management, okay, managing all the departments, if you're well versed with the HR management, all the terms of HR, if you're well versed with psychological aspects, if you're well versed with labor legislation, you are the right candidate for the HR department, right? And practical approach in meeting HR problems. Okay, so there will be n number of HR problems which will be there. Every day you have a new problem. Okay, HR job of HR is very challenging. It is not so easy. Okay, so every day you have a new challenge to meet up. How do you take up those challenges and how do you sort out those challenges, right? That is one of the aspect which is needed for HR. So if you're well versed in all those things, you're the right candidate for that particular job. Then professional attitude very much necessary for HR. Okay, so HR should be very professional because they are the people who are representing to the employees. They are the people who are representing to the companies. They are the people who are representing legal authorities. They are the people who will be representing to the customers and all those things. So professional attitude is very much necessary for an HR. Okay, so you should have lot of patience, very much required in HR. Okay, so before advising anything, you have to listen properly. Okay, and then understand it properly, and then with all the patience, you have to reply back. Simply, if you just go on advising the things, you are the culprit within the organization. So you need to have professional attitude. Simply, you cannot offer advices. Simply, you cannot become a consultant. Simply, you cannot say something, right? You have to listen before saying anything, and then taking the organizational objectives into consideration as well as your limitations into consideration, you have to offer advice. Then should have knowledge of technology. Okay, as I said, HR is the heart of the organization. So as heart pumps blood to each and every part of the body, in the same way HR involvement will be there in all the departments within the organization. So HR should have all the knowledge of technology, should have the knowledge of engineering, management, sociology, psychology, physiology, economics, commerce, law, everything. You need to be an all-rounder. Okay, and that comes with experience. It doesn't mean that you go and study engineering, sociology, and all these things. Automatically, when you get into the job of HR, with experience, you will get to know all these things, right? And then qualification, obviously, for the post of HR manager, it varies from industry to industry and state to state. The qualification keeps on varying. Okay. Human resource competency model, my dear students, this will be looking into the next class. Okay. Till here, is it understood? Any doubts?
No,
Students,
ma'am.
any doubts till here? Okay. So
No, ma'am.
am I explaining too
No,
fast?
ma'am.
Okay, great then. Right. So recording of this particular video I'll be posting in the group. Okay. You can please go through that particular recording. And if you have any doubts, you can write it down. And in the next class, at the start, you can ask me the questions. Right. So thank you very much, students.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.